Hi all, it's Emily Rand with ESPN Esports, and right now I am joined by Splyce support Norskeren after kind of, I guess, an interesting day of games in your group. But you did qualify as the first seed, so just generally, how do you think you and your team performed today?
Well, I think today was a really horrible day. Of course, we lost to the Japanese team, DFM, and then struggled really hard against the Isurus. So I think it's a worrying trend, of course. But I think as the longer time we get to practice on a new patch, I think we're kind of slow to pick up on new champs and the new patches in general. I think this time before we play the best of five against, we don't know yet. But yeah, I think the more time we get, I think it's really good. And the fact that we dodged maybe dumb one is it's good. So I'm happy at least that we got the first seed.
Um, Detonation Focus Me used a really odd composition against you guys. It was more of like an engaged comp. What was so difficult about that composition to go up against?
Well, it was kind of we didn't really have any big pressure lanes. We needed to play through mid lane. We just didn't do it because they had a lot of good cover with Galio and Nocturne. Those globals are pretty. Yeah, it's hard to dive against them, and the Ash Hawk shot doesn't help either. So I think we just missed our opportunities on the side we should have focused on.
And then I have to ask about the Jim pick in game two. Obviously, it's a kind of a Kabe favorite. It's one of his most played champions, one of his most successful champions. But what was behind that pick with the Corki Jin poke comp?
Well, it's not really we play Jin Corki together intended, but it's more Jin is kind of a pick that we always had, I guess, that we play when Saya Kaisa are banned. So we just, I guess, kind of prepared it for that scenario because they banned Saya Kaisa, if I recall correctly. They released out, and for bot wasn't super good, but I think we just got strong champions and just out, I guess, in team fights, even though we're far.
A lot of people have been saying that the scrim meta has been really fast. Games today have not been fast in your group.
Yeah.
So putting aside kind of Splyce's reputation as being more of a late game team, what has been the main difference from scrims to stage, and are you also seeing that?
Well, it's most that in scrims you tend to get the draft you want a bit more because usually the opponents don't really focus the bans on you, so you kind of get the picks you want. And in competitive, you ban specifically for this opponent, while in scrims you just practice against whatever. And I guess when you're better on something, of course you're gonna end the game faster than because you know how to play it better. So maybe we just were really unprepared because we didn't play enough of the champions. But I think I think in general the Chinese teams and G2 Fnatic, they end games faster because they're just better. That's how it is.
And what has surprised you the most about some of the things you've seen coming out of the meta? Because we've seen a lot of shifts from group to group and also day to day.
Well, I think there's a lot of more champions that you'll see played because playing teams. So I think it's going to be quite exciting to see this Worlds because I think the meta in a certain lane I won't mention, but I think it's going to be really insane.
And then a lot of people are also talking about the role of support in this meta and how it has a lot of control to dictate to the pace of the game. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think recently I think people are playing a lot more aggressive supports like Pyke, Rakan, Galio even, or Alistar and Leona. They have a lot of engage opportunity, and as soon as you get priority in lane, you can roam, you can just dive whatever because you're a second jungler. So I feel if you have a strong bot lane, they can impact the map a lot.
And then looking ahead, is there a team specifically that you want to go up against, or just kind of happy to have dodged Damwon?
I mean, I want to play against Clutch because I want to beat an A. I think this is funny, and yeah, I guess if we get to the group stages, I think I would also like to play against Team Liquid in the group. So I think honestly, I just want to play and have no regrets, and I'm happy if we get far, but I also want to have the chance to play against Team Liquid.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And for more League of Legends coverage, keep it here on ESPN Esports.